Good morning, Rabbi Yosef. That was very, very, very shmach. Okay, let's do that again. We got to do this again. And all you guys, yeah, it's a rally. All you guys, and if I don't hear you, Mendy, I'm going to be very upset. Good morning, Rabbi Yosef. Now we're talking about wake up, let's do it Sunday morning. Come on. Last night, before last night, first of all, huge Mazel Tov to our very dear friend, Levi. He became a grandfather, Levi. First time. Nice. So even though Levi's not a real part of the shir, he comes every single day, but he's not a real part of the shir. How do I know? Because he didn't ask me to be tzaddik yet. I will say the story Nachamol, to give chizik Nachamol. If you work for Hatzalah and you're coming to collect money from me, beware. He came for Hatzalah, and I looked at that. I don't know if I get. What's going to be with torah? Do you do the daf? So kids, I told him about the shir. He came the next morning. And he hasn't missed a day. Pashan hasn't missed a day in, I want to say, 4.5 years or so. Oh, it's much more. Since Zvachim. Zvachim daf? From the Asar Rishonim?
The 80 guys are from the Asar Rishonim.
He said he's one of the 80 guys who's from the Asar Rishonim. I love that. That's Givaldic.
He was one of the original MC. He was the original MC at the Siyam.
Really? Yeah. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe he's a shtickle. Maybe he's a little sad that he's not the MC anymore and that he's getting. All right. Rabbi Yosef, so last night the shir was in Yerushalayim, in Klutsk. Oh no, Lutz. Beautiful matzav. There was over 100 people, I want to say. How many people were there? Each year, over 100. It was very, very nice. I met some people in the hotel over Shabbos. They all came. I got this guy, Moshe Lawrence. He's doing the shir anyway, but I got whatever. But then this other guy, he's never done the daf in his life. He does Mishnah Yomi, whatever. He came with his kids. It's Givaldic. Big matzav. We got home. Because we miscalculated. We said the shir is going to start at 10 o'clock. This is what happens. Forgot that we have to get from Ramat Shemesh. The tech guys have to go from Ramat Shemesh to Yerushalayim. So they show up like 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. And they start setting up. But it doesn't take 20 minutes to set up. We started very, very late. The second shir started 40 minutes late. We finished at 12:30. We got home at 1:35 a.m. So it was beautiful. But as I'm walking in, tremendous simcha for, you all know him, Yisroel Dessler. He's the bacher who comes on his tustos all the time. He ate by me, schmacky guy, he comes all the time. So he got engaged to Yankee Filer's daughter. Yankee Filer is my next door neighbor in Chicago. Lives 3 houses down. So he wrote me this email last night. Dear Rebelli, I have a tremendous amount of akar satov to you. And even though I've told you many times, I'll say it again, you and MDY have changed my life. Now, for Purim, for instance, I'll remind you, for Purim, he got me this giant meat board, thank you, giant meat board with a Castel wine, and he's 22 years old. As a bacher, wrote me a beautiful letter. It was very, very... Yankee Yerzaicha, he's a great, great guy. He should have spoken to me before, but it's okay, maybe I would have ruined it. I mean, just to say, they got engaged, beautiful. But he's unbelievable. The mamish, a big mitzvah. He's looking for the MS. He comes here all the time to learn Torah, and he works on his Yerushalayim. He's a Givaldic guy. A few months ago, I was able to be in Kiristir for the Yartzeit of Reb Shaila. This was on the way back to yisroel after a long Pesach Ben Azmanim. Over Ben Azmanim, I did a lot of traveling, and unfortunately didn't do the daf every day. I was sitting in the fiddle room in Kiristir on Friday morning, learning the daf. I don't know why people do this stuff. And a Hasidic Yid came over to me and started yelling at me how terrible it was learning from a smartphone. I tried to explain to him what MDY was. It didn't really work. Right after that, another Hasidic Yid came over to me and said, it's so beautiful that you're learning here. I want you to be mikabel to learn at least a half an hour every single day. B'schus Reb Shaila. He then asked me what I'm looking for in life. I was 22 years old and figured I'd be going back to America to start shidduchim sometime within the year. So I said, I like a shidduch quick and easy. He took out a pen, wrote a star attached below. Here's a star. See this? It's a star. Yisroel ben Sarleh is Mikal to learn a half hour Eli nishmas R Moshe, and b'schus this I'll find the Zivik Hagan. He then wrote his name and number and told me to call him when it happens. I didn't think much of the story at the time. Went back to Yisroel. I got a phone call from my parents a few weeks later telling me about it to get Dar Yisharim ASAP. Next thing I know, I'm going out after Shavuos, Baruch Hashem, after a few dates in Israel. I flew back to America, and I'm happy to let you know that I'm engaged to Sarla Filer from Chicago. I was not in Shidduchim. I guess he wrote this maybe not last night, July 20th. Yeah, not last night. And didn't even have a resume. I can Baruch Hashem say, oh, it is? Oh, last night. Okay, good. I can Baruch Hashem say that I kept the Kabbalah and missed only 2 or 3. I'll tell you a story. I told the Olam last night, this Maisa. This waiter, he comes over to our table. It's a whole story with it. They had 500 guests at the hotel. So the service was slow. My brother got up and complained. So they got the head waiter to come over and he started taking care of things. So the next morning, the head waiter comes over and says, "No, how's everything?" I said, "Great." So my brother says, my brother, he teaches Daf Yomi. He starts to explain to you. I don't think he's Jewish, this guy. He says, "My brother, he has Ruach HaKodesh." This whole thing gives him a whole spiel. So the guy says, "Really?" I said, "Really?" Yeah, he says, "Really?" He says, "My brother, he could tell you what day you were born. Stop by looking at you. No, so for real. No, what day?" So I look at the guy, I go, "You're born in July, no?" He goes, "Yeah." "In the 20s. You were born July 20. He's like, "Yeah." He starts shaking. And then I said, "Give me your hand." He gives me his hand. I look, July 22nd. He turned colors. He's like, "Whoa, what is this?" He was going Meshuggah. What happened was, the day before, my brother told me his birthday. My brother knew his birthday, remembered from a different time. So the whole Shabbos, this guy's going around telling people, he's a special Jew. He could tell you things that nobody in the world knows. And then he came over to me and asked me more stuff. Sir, I said, just tell people the guy from Daf Yomi has Ruach HaKodesh and we'll be okay. Anytime a guest comes. I hope he doesn't watch this one. I don't want to ruin it. As it says July 20th there, July 20th. Anyway, so I didn't think much of the story, but that's Nevas Das Ta'akum. It could be Tzasar. Thinking now, maybe I should go back to the Waldorf for Shabbos. Explain them. No share that. I'll come back, Be'ezer Hashem. Anyways, he then wrote his name and number and told me to call when it happens. Anything much of it. Okay, we said this. I kept the Kabbalah. I missed only 2 or 3 days since. All made up. It all started for me learning the Daf and Kirstir. And no words can express the amount of Akar Tov that I have to you and the MDY team. Skipping the whole BMG and Shidduchim stages, tremendous bracha that I'm really thankful for. And also, besides for learning every day, Baruch Hashem, my davening, Avodas Hashem has grown tremendously because of the commitment. Attached below is a picture of the note. You can see it on the Daf Ayin Aleph Baba Kama, and a few pictures of me dafing, road tripping in Texas and on the boat of Capri. Skipping, I said this already. Your Talmud Yisroel Dessler. And here is the shtar, and here is Yisroel. Not a great picture, you don't see his face, but he's learning. He always does the daf. Okay, we have time for that. I hope the team finds you well. I want to express my deep gratitude for this year. I joined the share at the start of Bava Basra and can notice the profound impact it has been having on my day. First thing I do when I get to my office, before any emails, I love this. The first thing he does, Rabbi say, we should take note of these emails. You can learn a lot of stuff here. First thing he does is when he gets to his office, before any emails, meetings, etc., I have a 45-minute daily calendar block to watch his share. I reckon that a lot of work is put into many people to make this happen, and it's much appreciated. Looking forward to meeting y'all in person one day, and hope to join the Siyum in Stamford, Connecticut. Oh, Stamford, Connecticut. We're already talking about the Shabbaton. Thank you for your investment in Klal Yisrael. Best. Mark Kestenbaum, Atlantic Beach, New York. Yuval, nice office he has going over here with the guitar on the wall, ganze Meises. Okay, let me just, so I don't forget to say this one. L'chmei Rebelli, a big thank you for coming to the Shir Yerushalayim, and for all the Koiches you and your team that went into setting it up. I want to say Yishkoich to Avrem. I forgot to thank him last night. He's the one that came and he was working, and he's, the internet wasn't working, this wasn't working, got it all going. Schlepp screens. We had a nest over there last night. I'll tell you guys because you weren't there. The screen broke, on the spot broke. No screen, no shear. What do you do? What do you do? So a bunch of guys said, go into the Waldorf and just grab a screen. You're Valdig. Mitzvah Baba Avera. And then all of a sudden they realized that Benig, Rodnik, he started a shear in that shul 2 years ago. It failed. But there's a screen somewhere in the shul, hidden. And they went, they found the screen, poof, and we were able to get a screen within 3-4 minutes. We had a screen ready to go. Pshat in Yisroel Shalom is over the people diving behind. I was making fun of that. The Olam here in Yisroel likes to do Yisroel Shalom, even if there's nobody behind you and there's plenty of room, they like to make a hard left turn in the Yisroel Shalom. Even though you're saying goodbye to Hashem in front of you, they start going sideways. So he's trying to explain to you, no, that's because the Shemona Esrei, there's people diving behind you, the whole, but I still love the hak, he says. A good vach, but for sure, we'll have one after the shir, have one after the shir, I don't know what that means. Hashtag motivated for the week, Chaim Traft. That's, I guess, Rafal's something. Join Yeshir at Bava Basra. Rafal from the klal, that's his last name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Troyhaft. Shkoyach, Troyhaft from Switzerland. Gewaldig. Oh, he says over there, I forgot to say, he's tempted to move to RBS now after the shir last night. In Rabbi Yosef, we are holding in Daf Chof Hey, Amud Beis, like where it becomes wide over there, Omar Rabbi Yitzchak, 3 lines down. Yeah, we have a lot to catch up. We have a couple shorter dapim, maybe Amudim. Chof Hey, Amud Beis. Omar Rabbi Yitzchak. You could see it in Eretz Yisrael a lot of times. I don't know if this is the reason, but like if the shul, the Ahron Kodesh is facing this way, a lot of people start going this way, that way, the davening Shemona Esrei. And they do it really exaggerated, so you notice them. You know those people? What are you laughing? They don't catch this dadim nothing. They're going the opposite direction of the olam. Because they want to be machkim. They never go to the side of money. That my Rebbe in Cheder, in front of the whole class, he said, Elio, if you have 2 options, to be a chacham or to be a usher, what direction are you going to daven for? I said, money. He said, no. You know what I would do? I would face the side of chachma. I'll just stick him a chutzah. Rebbe, everybody has to ask what they're missing. You're missing chachma, you go for chachma. I'm missing money. V'simanach. I don't have it's too late, huh? Okay. We had in the other shir, we didn't get there, and I forgot to bring the actual piece. They'll show it, hopefully, maybe Yosef will show it. Should you have the small, give me this, no, that doesn't help. No. V'simanach shulchan b'safar u'menorah b'darim. So, in the Heichal, which is that tall building, you have different things in there. You have the Mizbeach HaKtoros, you have the Shulchan. Oh, yeah, but that doesn't help me so much. That's the Eichel, that tall piece, that's the Eichel. Inside it, the Shulchan, with the Lechem HaPanim, is on the north, U'menorah b'darim. Okay. What sponsors? Oh, I have to say sponsors. I skipped them yesterday almost on purpose. Pretended it was on purpose because we started so late. The Masechta is sponsored for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnas HaChodesh, Moe Landy, Liluy, nishmas, R Moshe ben Shmuel Yehuda, the Mashgiach of torah vodaas. Parnas HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman, l'schus to rebel, if you continue siyadta, dishmaya, teaching torah to klal Yisroel. Parnas HaChodesh, before shleima. Nefhtali has been Liluy, hidden tzaddik in our generation. Parnas HaChodesh, nishmas, Zechraya ben Moshe, nishmas, Chayu bas Yosef. Parnas HaShavua, Benchetrit, in commemoration of the הערץ of Rabbi Yosef Oziel of Miami community, who passed away on the 13th of Tammuz at a young age of 42. Parnas HaYom, Yosef Itzkowitz, the nishmas, his mother, Aidel Chaya Bas Ahron Fraiman, and mother-in-law, Reisha Shendel Bas Lipman Arya Aleh Shalom, both whose yahrzeits are today. Unbelievable, in one day. Yahrzeit of Chava Bas Yaakov Halevi, 15th of Tammuz, and Parnas HaYom Mordechai Zapaznik. L'zech nishmas Dor Chaim HaKadosh, Horav Chaim ben Alter Zechet Zag L'Rocha, may he be a Melis Yosher full of Klal Yisroel. And by Peres Chaim Levin, the nishmas Horav Chaim ben Moshe Ater Zecher Tzaddik L'Rocha, the Kodesh L'Rocha, the Or Chaim HaKadosh, and in honor of official Shachter, disseminator of the Or Chaim's teaching, official Shachter. He's a murder guy. Mazel Tov, he once left us a message from Mazel Tov to Akiva Ziegler on his son's chassid today. Oh, this is gewaldig. these guys, both, Mordechai Sapaznik and Peres Chaim Levin, give us the information. Instead of us paying them, they pay us to give us the information. It's Givaldik to know. Akiva Ziegler is making chasana today. I knew that. I schmoozed with them a little bit, or I sent them a text. And it's the Ar Chaim's, we have to say a word from the Ar Chaim today. But unfortunately, I don't have one. Okay! So it says like this. Kiner mitzvah v'torah ar. Ner mitzvah v'torah ar is referring to the Torah, that's the menorah, that's on the south of the Heichal. The lechem aponim, food, bread, refers to parnasa, that's on the north. And memela, if you want to have chachma, you go towards the menorah, which is on the south. If you want money, parnasa, you face the north. Rabbi Shimon Levi Amar Lo Olam Yadrim. Says Rabbi Shimon Levi, no, just go to the south. You get 2 for 1. Because when you get chachma, you become, well, not every smart person is wealthy. I know a lot of very, very, very smart people that the mamish, even homeless in a way. So, but the Gemara says when you have chachmas torah, you become a asher or b'yimina. The right of what? B'yimina of what? Of the Torah. You get arichas yamim from the right hand side of the Torah. B'smaila, and the left hand side, oisher v'chavod. Torah gives you everything. You get Torah and you get oisher v'chavod, and there are many stories here in MDY that people like Yossi Klein, Miran Nekash, Moe Landy, Fischel, talking about Fischel. All 4 of these people told me that when they got into learning, they saw tremendous bracha in Parnasa. So Zokti Gemara, we just had yesterday a whole machlokes. What direction should a person daven? We take it for granted, we daven towards the Beis Hamikdash. But Rabbi Kiva in the Mishnah says, Ma'ariv is where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. And the other man, the Amrim, say, no, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is everywhere. So you can daven in any direction you want. But Yeshua ben Levi is the one that says Ma'ariv like Rabbi Kiva. The Mitzadi, that's Dudei. You daven to Ma'ariv, a little bit to the north, a little bit to the south. So you daven to Ma'ariv, and you position a little bit, so there's a little bit of chachma in there. You go down to the Yesvitu b'tzvayin Eretz Yisroel. You people in Bavel who are in the north of Eretz Yisroel, Adrume, you should face south. In other words, wherever you are in the world, face Eretz Yisroel. So if you're to the north of Eretz Yisroel, face south. So let's look at the globe for a second. This right over here is Eretz Yisroel. So he's saying Bavel is up here. So you should face south. This is north, south. Eretz Yisrael is up here. The big question is, we know Bavel is to the east of Eretz Yisrael. Bavel is on the blue over here, you see? East. It's not such a kasha. The whole Gemara tells us that Eretz Yisrael is to the east. We always say, B'marava Amri. In the west they say. Eretz Yisrael is to the west of Bavel. They never had a suffix about that. So why is the Gemara saying now it's to the north? In fact, and the Gemara brings even a pasuk. Let's see the pasuk. When we know that Bavel is to find Eretz Yisrael, how do you know Bavel is to the north of Eretz Yisrael? What is going on? So very simple. It is a little bit to the north. Eretz Yisrael's latitude is lower than Bavel. Bavel is slightly higher. The fact that Bavel is to the east of Eretz Yisrael, that's pashut. The whole world knows that. They traveled it all the time. They go east, west. How do you know that's slightly above? Oh, that I need a pasuk. I don't really need a pasuk. I do it. I always go, when I go from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, I'm going northeast. So I know that. Why do I need a pasuk? Because the pasuk makes it real. The fact, I can go this way. If the pasuk says go that way, it's that way. But the nekuda is that it's slightly north of Eretz Yisrael. Okay. Zog the Gemara. You should distance the water from the flax from your neighbor's vegetables. We saw Rabbi Yosef holds that when it comes to mustard and bees, you can leave it there in your property. What does Rabbi Yosef always hold? Let's see if we have it over here. Maybe not. Not today. Okay. Rabbi Yosef is of the opinion throughout the whole sugya, ala nizik laharchik, it's always up to the other guy to distance himself, even though you're the one causing trouble. Why? Because you're in your property. You can do whatever you want on your property. So, Shabar, where am I? No. You distance your bees from my mustard. Why do I have to distance my mustard from your bees? You know what? It's 50-50 that we had in the Gemara. You're destroying me, I'm destroying you. So maybe it's an immediate hezek, but you're also destroying my stuff. The bees are eating my flowers. Says the Heilige Mishnah, you have to distance a tree from a pit 25 amma. Why? Because the root system will go into the pit and destroy my pit. If it's a larger tree like a carob tree, a shikma, a sycamore, chamishim amma, even more, double. Whether the tree is above the pit or to the side of the pit. Ima bar kadma, if the pit was first. Here, so read it with me. What would you pass in halacha? If the pit was first and you should not be putting a tree there, and you did, so cut down your tree, and do you get compensated or not? Yes. You said yes? You can explain it logically? You're not supposed to put your tree there. There's a guy has a pit next to you, so you're not supposed to plant the tree. You planted the tree. The guy brings you to bed, and you have to chop it down. So you chop it down. Does the guy have to pay you for it? Why? You did it shleima. So let's see in the Mishnah. Ima bar kadma. If the pit was first, kaitzets, you chop down the tree. V'nois and damim, he has to pay for it. The answer is because yes, you're right. You're not supposed to put your tree there, but there's no immediate damage. The damage is only going to occur 3 years later, and nevertheless, you can't put it there. So if you're going to make you chop it down, pay for it. V'milan kadam. If the tree was first, lo yakuts, then he doesn't have to take down his tree. His tree was there before the pit. Savik zeh kadam, savik zeh kadam. If there's a savik which one came first, lo yakuts. Of course, you don't have to take it down because. Here's Rabbi Yosef again. Even though the pit was there first, I can plant whatever I want in my property. I can dig in my property. I can plant in my property. Says the Gemara, Tana, whether the pit was above and the tree is below. Here we go. Here's the tree below, pit above. Whether the pit is above and the tree is, what did I just do? Bein shabar lemala, that's this one. Bar lemala, vilon lemata, and this is bar lemata and ilon lemala. Bishlam bar lemata, if the pit is down like this, vilon lemala, the root system will go and destroy the pit. So I set this over by the Shabbos table in the hotel, and my brother, my sister, I was saying your dafka for them, and they finished off the Dvar Torah. So I'll share with you. Hopefully you guys don't finish it off like that. But in Hurricane Sandy, which my brother and my sister-in-law went through in Farakwe, water coming to the basement, destroying everything. The damage was unbelievable. So there's a question. Why is it that this giant tree that's 5 feet wide fell down? And this little tree didn't fall down. And the opposite, they had trees that fell, trees that didn't fall down. What's going on? So they came, they brought the scientists in, and they discovered as follows. A tree that wasn't watered, it wasn't pampered when it was growing up. So there were certain times there's drought. So it had to go deeper down, dig. The root system had to go deeper down to find water. Those are the trees that survived. The ones that had watering systems, that had sprinkler systems, those are the trees that fell. And what do you learn from here? That the hardships that we have in life actually build us for later on. Later on, when something tough comes around, we survive. The spoiled ones, I'm talking to myself, the spoiled ones, those children that are spoiled, Shem Yirachem, whatever they want. I need a PSP 5. Okay, 5. You're not building their character. We're spoiling them and we're not building their character. I'm talking to myself. If the pit is above the tree, like so, what could be wrong already? Because they destroy the bottom of the pit, they weaken the dirt underneath the pit. So then the whole bottom of the pit falls in. Rabbi says, even though the pit was there first, you could plant your tree. Logically speaking, it's hard to understand. I'm causing damage. You have to distance yourself. Why? Because the damage that I'm causing is in my property. Oh, provided, says the Gemara. So this is the classic Rashi brings this Maisa that we had in Bava Basra. Gir the day. If I'm pouring water on the second floor and the water goes directly on your head, that's my arrow. That's my extension of my hand. That's 100% also even according to Rabbi Yosef. If the damage is immediate, let's say I pour the water on the floor and it's zoichel, it crawls and then finds a place to go down, that's already different. There Rabbi Yosef is not. Gir delay, when it's immediate, then it's also even according to Rabbi Yosef. Papi, you know a story, Rabbi says story time. Oni v'hesher ava. He was a poor person and became wealthy. You might ask yourself, how did you become wealthy? So I'll tell you. When he was younger, he sold newspapers from door to door. Later on, he got some money. He bought a Slurpee machine. He started selling Slurpees. Became wealthier. And eventually, his uncle passed away and left him $5 million. That's how it happened. So, what's shaykhs? So he's poor, then became wealthy. Because people that are poor and then they become wealthy, what's the first thing they do? They buy a big mansion. And they don't make a cheshbon where it is, what it is. So we had a guy here that came all the way from Beersheba. It was Nispal twice in a row already. 2 Fridays in a row with this child, all the way from Beersheba just for the share back. So he screamed out a middle share. He says, by us in Beersheba, they built B'nai Beitcha. These are the single family homes, beautiful. But they forgot that's only a few hundred feet away from the garbage disposal system. You go on the highway and it smells real bad, and you tell the guy next to you it's not. It's like you know what I'm talking about. That's where they live. He said the whole thing failed. The whole project failed. Here's a guy. First thing he does, he builds a mansion. Where? In his neighborhood, in the slums of Bavel, with all the other. He pops out everybody's eye, builds a giant mansion, they're all living in tents, he's a mansion. Not a good idea. There were people, they were making tchina. If you ever go to Machne Yehuda, I remember years ago, you could look it up online, they have this giant grinder. They make the tchina on the spot. They put the sesame in and mamish like stone on stone, a shechev on top of a rechaim. You know what I'm talking about? So in those days they did it slightly different. They did it like this here. You have to pound those sesames, and when you pound the sesames, it's so tremendous pounding. His whole beautiful mansion started shaking. It literally shook. Also coming to Ravashi Omerlei, so Rav Kahana said, it's also for them to pound. Why? Because direct damage. Every time he goes boom, the house shakes boom. So it's a problem. V'kamo. How much does it shake? That I have to move my whole factory away? Like when you have a lid on top of a barrel, you take a barrel with a lid, you put it on top of the house, and if you see it shaking, yisroel. Last night I asked Oilam and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Last year or whatever it was, there's like an earthquake here in Bet Shemesh. And I live on the top floor. Things were literally shaking. I heard the glass, I look at the chandelier and all the things are moving like this. It happened 2 or 3 times. And I asked some neighbors, I asked Reuben Shade, he lives in the second floor. I didn't feel a thing. It's something about, but there was one, at least one, that the whole building felt it. You guys remember this earthquake? Anybody feel an earthquake here in Bet Shemesh? Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Mamsha. What? 3:30 in the morning. It was the time that I was up. No, it wasn't. No, I think, sure, it was in the morning. Early, that's why nobody remembers. Okay, fine. I can make it up anytime. Yeah.
The sesame in Israel are air conditioning units that people put on the side of the wall of the building.
But they only put it by your window. They go down to your. First of all, you live in a private house. How do you know about the stuff?
Put it on the wall. They suit us to take it off.
You're the one. See, those guys that put the air conditioning.
I'm shaking my living room.
Yeah, I know. I spoke about the air conditioning. Mamish that. I spoke about it. I said, I'll tell you the story. I might have said it then. The guy put an air conditioner and he said, okay, listen, you're putting it on my wall. It's my wall. But if I ever need it off, take it off. Kids, the guy made an extension. Again, he said, okay, take it off. He says, but it costs money. He says, but you made a deal. His mamish burgers with him. His guy was upset. Papi Yoina, Heoni Veshir. Bonapando. Okay, we're already on top here. Top of Chavav Amud Aleph. The Beba Marion. Another story. Berei the Rovin, Kavanafti Kitna. They were beating the flax. So they take the flax and they give it a good zet. Havazla Rakto Maskinche. The shaft, the peel of the flax would fly away and harm people. Also the Ravina, so they came to Ravina Amar Lahu. So you think, right? Beautiful. Typical Gemara. You have a halacha that if you take action here, it goes over there. That's gira delay. It's the arrow. It's immediate damage. You have to stop. Whoa, not so fast. Why? He says, when do I say this halacha that it's his arrow? That's because it's direct power energy from my hand. But over here, how did it get to the neighbor? It's the wind. When you're helped out by the wind, that's not you. Why is it any different than this case when on Shabbos you do this? It's a deraisa, it's a chil Shabbos. But what did you do? All you did is you threw it upwards. The wind did the rest. So you see that anytime you have to come onto the wind to finish your action, it's considered your action. So over here also it should be considered your hezek. You did the damage. In fact, says the Gemara, you're right. In a way. You're right. I hold that it's just like the Isser Melacha of Zaira, which you need the wind to help you out. Over here also, if I'm beating the flax and it blows into the neighbor's yard, I'm chayiv because the wind helped me, and that's as if I did it myself. What about this case over? I have no idea where it is. Oh, here. Something like this. When you hit, what is it called? Cornice, the anvil. Take the hammer, bang that. So you have sparks flying out. Spark goes and causes damage. What's this over here? Check this out. Oh, here's a video of it. Gewaldig. Oh, gewaldig. So much better than a video, Bemis. I'm not joking. That is great. Now it's in slow motion. Okay. Why is it different? What? Ta. Or you could do this. That's Eli. This is Yoshi. Okay. Hasam nichalei de lezel. The reason why over there chayev is because so Rashi sticks in that it's with the wind. Tais explains that he didn't really mean that. I think from Tais Mashma that even if there's the wind, even without the wind, Hasam nichalei de lezel. By the spark, he wants the spark to go to the other property. That's in his mind. He wishes a wind will come and grab it and take it. Hachalei nichalei de lezel. But over here, he couldn't care less if all the shaft from the flax remains in his property. Says the Mishnah. You're not allowed to plant a tree next to your friend's field. You're causing damage. You have to distance how much? How far? 4. When you read it simply, it seems like it doesn't matter what tree you're planting next to the field. It doesn't matter whether the field is before the tree is after the field. Any tree, the vineyard, everything. So you need, we even have a little bit of a picture. Just make sure we don't need this anymore. Here. So there's a distance between the vineyard and the field, 4 amas. How you got in time? You don't want the plow to come damage. How you got in time? If there's a wall, it's not about the root system, it's about you damaging the field. So if there's a wall between the two, then you can go all the way up to the wall. There's a on both sides. Tzaddik. If there were roots going into your friend's property as such. You don't want the blade of the plow to hit the roots. It's going to ruin your plow. So you are permitted to go down 3 tfachim and cut out the shirashim, the roots. If he was digging a ditch, a pit, shiach umara, longer one, one that's covered, he's allowed to go even deeper. Who's the wood? It says he's allowed to dig even deeper than 3 tvachim. And the wood belongs to him. Who's him? The guy that's digging l'chayra. And the Gemara says maybe not. Why do I have 4 amos over here? So that I can work here. There's 4 amos in this picture also. Not this one. This one. 4 amos. So that I can work around the vineyard. That's only in Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because the plows in Eretz Yisrael were wider. They're 4 amos. Out Bava, when you have very small plows, then it's 2 amos. What about in Texas when it's 65 feet long or 100 feet? Look, check this out. It's crazy. You have the size of this plow. Look at this tractor. 12 wheels that each one is like, I don't know how many feet tall. Probably 6, 7 feet tall. Wheel. There's a massive, massive plow. There's another one. So in each place, yeah, over here, 4 amos is not going to do it. It's going to need a lot more.
You need 4 amos for kilai.
Correct.
You can't do 2 amos.
Depends what they're planting there. Depends what. So now we have a freebie. It's mamish repeating everything we just said. A person should not plant unless he distances himself 2 amos. Well, not arba amos. So what about the fact that we learned in our Mishnah 4 amos? Oh, after the Shmuel, there's a difference between Eretz Yisrael and Bava, small plow, large plow. Some say it as a question. You have to distance yourself 4. What about the fact that it says 2? Depending on the size of the plow. So Rav Yosef, as you remember, let me remind you the story of Rav Yosef. In this story, Rav Yosef owned the palm trees, and the birds came and they drank the blood, and they went onto the palm tree, and they harmed Rav Yosef's palm tree. Over here, it's the opposite. Rav Yosef was harming his neighbor. And then there's another story with Rav Yosef somewhere else, where Rav Yosef's goats ate from the... Kids are 3 stories in Shas about Rav Yosef and his stuff and the damages. They'd sit in Rav Yosef's tree. From the tree, they'll go into the vineyard of his neighbor and destroy the vineyard. Amarlei, he tells Rav Yosef, I want you to chop down your palm tree. Amarlei, Ba'archikili, I distanced it the 4 amos. It's interesting because the Ramah brings from here, you think, wait a minute, it's like a grama de grama. I built a shelf, I built a perching spot for the birds, and the birds go from there into the field. And that's why I have to take down the... you built an apartment in Eretz Yisrael, the pigeons hang out there, and they go from there, they go into my apartment. No. So I'm going to knock down my apartment. We have to understand. The Ramah says that if you have an apartment, and the Ganovim broke into it, and from there they're able to sneak their way into the neighbor's apartment, you're achrei. Yes, there's such a thing. Goes into that. You think you're achrei. Neither. Says, so Yosef says, what do you want from me? I did what the Mishnah says, 4 amos. That's for trees. We're dealing with, I have a vineyard. You have to distance yourself even more. So he says, wait a minute. What about the fact that it says in the Mishnah, it doesn't matter what tree it is. One tree from another tree. One grape to another grape. But if I have a tree and you have grapes, some say it depends what came first. That was the Shaila. But Akapanim, from the Mishnah, you can't prove, he says. A tree to a vineyard, you have to distance even more. Omarlei, she tells Rav Yosef, I know like Etzino. I cannot chop down the tree. Why not? We all know the famous pasuk. When you don't want to finish your sandwich, your mother always pulls out this pasuk. The Baal Tashchis means that you're not allowed to cut down a tree that bears fruit. So I don't want to. If it has even a kav of fruit, I'm not chopping it down. Now, Rabbi Yosef, if a tree bears fruit and you cut down that tree, you don't take it out from the root system. You cut it right down. It's destroyed. Malchus and no Malchus. Nobody's answering. Why not? Who says Malchus? Anybody agree with that? Malchus. Yeah, Malchus. This is the Raisa. Baltash get Malchus, says the Rambam. So what conditions could you chop down a tree? If it causes a loss to your neighbor. If it doesn't bear enough fruit. A few other things. Okay. So over here he's saying, I don't want to cut down the tree. And I'll tell you something else he says. He says, my son, Shikchas, died because he chopped down the fig tree before its time. Death. You know what? I'm scared of death. You want to chop down my tree? Go ahead. I give you permission to chop down my tree. Don't tell me to do something that I think is a isser. Mar nichalei likut. No, a guy told me on Shabbos yesterday. He says, I want to tell you something. There's a person that he knows that the Arabs planted these olive trees all over, so the Nachalim shouldn't make a yishuv over there. There's a law that if there's olive trees, you can't build. So he went, uprooted the olive trees, and they made a yishuv. So he tells me, you should know. So ever since he did that, he was never successful in planting trees. He planted a tree, it dies. Never once did a tree ever work for him. So I told him, I think I know what you're talking about. And I said, if you're already going that route, and again, only the waiter in the Waldorf thinks I have Baruch HaKodesh, but I don't. Maybe this guy, if you're already going that route, you want to manage this guy that you're talking about, he also had a stroke when he was 35 years old. Right after the tree thing. So he's shocked. He stood there. He said, wow, I never thought about it. And he's like, Because he went low. He said it's because the trees don't work. So you want to go based on the Gemara? Now, again, don't take me wrong. It could be that it's a mitzvah deraisa to uproot it there. I have no idea. I'm just saying, if you're already going that route, you get punished for taking out a sapling olive tree, even though it's our enemy that put it down there. So you can go even further. Another story. Rav Papa had palm trees right on the border. I don't know how they lived there. Here's Rav Yosef, here's Rava, here's Rav Papa, here's Rav. The whole neighborhood is full of G'dolei Adar. And they all have trees and they're all dealing with the trees. Rav Huna himself, the Gadol, is digging and chopping down his root system. What are you doing to my roots? If your roots come into my field, so go down 3. I'm allowed to go down in my property and chop down your roots. Where does it say 20? It says 3 in the Mishnah. I'm digging a pit. It's not a chaver because if you're digging a pit, you can go down. So let me ask you a question. When Rav Papa asked him, why are you digging? He should have said right away, I'm digging a pit. I'm allowed to do it. No. He said, I'm digging 3. I'm allowed to dig 3. But why are you digging 20? Oh, because I'm digging a pit. Say right away, I'm digging a pit. Question number 1. Question number 2, these are questions I had. And I found them in the back of Baruch Hashem. Thank you, Masifta. I had the Masifta with me on Shabbos, and I found it. It bothered me on Shabbos. I found it in the Chassam Sofer. Question number 2. If you're digging a pit, say, I'm digging a pit. Why are you saying I'm digging a pit? Shiach Umara. I'm digging 3 things. You're not digging 3 things. You're digging one of those 3 things. So tell Rav Papa what you're digging. I'm digging a ma'ara. You're allowed to go. I'm digging a bar. What do you mean? I'm digging a bar Shiach Umara. That's not how you talk. So I believe that some Sefer says something to the effect that he was saying, even though I'm not digging, I have the right. The Mishnah tells me I have the right to dig a bar Shiach Mara. So therefore I can go even lower. Something like to that effect. He wasn't digging a bar. Because if he was digging a bar, you'd say, I'm digging a bar. And it even makes sense now. I try to bring him all these rights that he shouldn't do it. Why? What kind of rights can you go against the Mishnah? The Mishnah says you could dig down 3. You could dig down more than 3 if you're digging a pit. Who's a guest here? Real quick, you know not so much. Who's Ira? Where's Ira? Oh, Shalom Aleichem. How you doing? I barely see you. Hi. What's your name? Yoni. From?
Los Angeles.
For real?
For real.
You do the shir all the time or kacha kacha? So are you thinking about it? You're the neighbor. So I'm going to be in your neighborhood, Be'ez Hashem, like in 3 weeks. I plan on visiting my son Akiva. I'm going to make a shir there. You going to come? I gotta be Mechazik Los Angeles. We got Moshe Lawrence. We got all these guys. Where's Hillel? We got Hillel that. Okay, who else? Oh, Shalom Aleichem, you in the back. What's your name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel what?
Brodsky. My son.
Oh, your son. Okay, Shalom Aleichem, Gabriel. Welcome, welcome. Who else? No? Okay, great. Quiet Sunday morning. Zok the Gemara. And then finally he says, Rav Papa, I got him to stop. Why? If there's a pathway that the public uses, even though it's through your property, you're not allowed to ruin it. So your root went into my property and you didn't say anything, so it stays in my property. I have the right to keep it in your property. Turning on the Daf, sponsored by Life Share Community, protecting families today before tomorrow's unexpected loss. So the Gemara, the bus of the Nafak, so Papa got him good. But after Papa left, it happens all the time, no? You go into Gadol, you go and the Gadol tells you this, and and then as soon as he leaves, like, oh, if I just would have told him this joke and he would have been laughing and then I would have gotten from the Shulchan Aruch. No, the Chacham is to do it on the spot. There wasn't another where Papa leaves. Omar, I should have told him. He's killing himself. Why didn't I tell him? So there's a big yisoid, Rabbi Yosef. 16 is the cutoff. 16 amma is what the tree nourishes from the roots. The root goes out there, 16 amma, like 32 feet, out and brings water in. The root could grow to 50 feet, but it doesn't nourish the tree. The water doesn't go all the way back, says the Gemara. 16 amma is the cutoff. And Memela, I dug up your roots that were 16 amma away from the tree. So they're not really yours anymore. It doesn't help the tree. It doesn't benefit the tree. So I could dig it. Says the Gemara, if he's digging something deeper like a bar, a shiach mara, so you could, just want to make sure, what's this? Oh, this is very nice actually. That's the story, the other story with Rav Yosef. The Rav Yosef's palm trees were causing damage to this guy's, maybe there's even a little, oh, here, you see? That's that story. From the palm tree, it goes to the vineyard. So, Yosef, if you're watching this, who's doing the editing today? R Eli or Yosef, do you know? So whoever's doing the edit, if you hear me, please put this on the previous Gemara with the story with the ravens coming off the tree. I guess he did this, I don't know, 2 a.m. I didn't see it last night. This also, wow. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Boimene Yaakov Hadyava Mirav Chizda. Eitzim Shalmi. Who owns the roots that you dig up? What do you mean? It says in the Mishnah, Shaloi. So obviously it's not so simple. Or related to Nisuah. We learned. Shorshe Ilon Shel Hadyoid Habaim B'Shel Hagdish. So let's just look at the pasuk for a second. If the Beis HaMikdash owns something, and you go ahead and you use it, what happens? What's the process? There's 3 things that the pasuk says. Behavis Hashamay, Neveshki Simol Mal, you did Mila. You used the donkey from Hegdish. Or in our case, you took a tree that belongs to Hegdish, let's say, or vice versa. Behavis Hashamay, first of all, you have to bring a carbon asham. It's expensive, a few $100. You have to pay what you benefit. That's called hana. You have to yishalim. And finally, Yosef, you have to pay a fifth. How much is a fifth, Rabbi say? 25%. So it says like this. Oh my God. You haven't been here for a while. Yeah, a fifth is 25%, and we'll talk afterwards. Zog the Gemara. For the new people, in the time of the Gemara, a fifth is from the outside, milabar, like a bar. You know what a bar is? Milabar, from the outside. A bar, you go outside. The Gemara calls it 20%, but it's really 25%. Sharsha Elon. The Torah even calls it 20%. It's 25%. Judah, you got to come every day, my friend. Every single day. Every day. I don't want to hear these. Where were you? You mamish missed all that?
Bring breakfast, I'll come.
What about the fact that you don't know what 20% is? That doesn't help. There will be, when I'm in America, we're going to try to do some breakfast there. Maybe we'll get the Olam to come. No excuses. Listen to this. Here we go. There's two cases. You have a tree growing in a private property and the roots extend into the Hegdish property on the left. You have the opposite. You have a tree growing in Hegdish and the roots extend to the private. I'll tell you what the halach is in both. The same exact thing. You should not benefit from the roots. And if you do, you are not over amila. You do not have to bring a carbon. You don't have to pay a fifth more or 20%, 25% more. You're not supposed to benefit from it, but if you did, it's not loy mi'ila, it's not mi'ila. Says the Gemara, very simple. We're talking about this one. This one. The tree is in the Hediya property. What do you see from here? Very simple. If you go by the owner of the tree, who owns the tree in this case? Rabbi Yosef, the private citizen. Therefore, even though I took the root. Where is the root growing? In Beis Hamikdash's property, in the Hegdish property. Loy Moyalin. You're not over Mila. Why? Because the tree is owned by the Hedyot. Now, how did this property become? So what do you see from here? It goes by the owner of the tree. The owner of the tree is a private citizen. He has roots that go into the Hegdish. If you use the roots, you're not over anything. So if you're not over anything, why can't I benefit from it? The Rabbanon. It looks bad. It looks like as if you're taking from a. Don't use it. Stam Azay. Ma'aseh Shoya. I told you guys this Ma'aseh, but for the new guys, how did this become Hegdish? How did this field become Hegdish? Because somebody had a property and he said, I'm donating this to the Beis Hamikdash. Ma'aseh Shoya in Chicago. I heard this from, I think, what's his name? I forgot his name. Rabbi Wolf, I think. Not Rabbi Wolf. Forgot. Slipped my mind. The guy that the story happened to. There's a big, giant movie theater on the corner of Kedzi and Devan. Giant, brand new. In fact, my family owned a car wash that was attached to it. Kids, both failed. The movie theater and the car wash. So the guy didn't know what to do with the car wash. The car wash was losing money every day. He happened to be a lawyer, and his lawyer recommended to him, get rid of it, give it as a gift to an organization. Now, he wasn't religious. He was a Jew, wasn't religious. He explained to him, there's tax benefits, just get rid of it. So he thought to himself, okay, who do I give it to? He says, very simple. He's a lawyer. He's sitting in his office one day, and a guy comes in with a gun and shoots him up. Wanted to kill him. He ended up in the hospital for a very long time. And nobody came to visit him. Who came to visit him? Lubavitch. They saw his name on a thing. Lubavitch. Says, I have to give it to the organization. Give it to Lubavitch. So he gave it to this rabbi who came to me and said, you do real estate. Maybe you want to buy from me. Anything you pay me is pure profit in my pocket. So people donate things to to Lubavitch, and they give buildings away. They give properties away. Azoy Gaitos. That's how it is. So guy, in those days, you have a problem with you have a movie theater in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. You give the Beis Hamikdash, just give it to the Beis. There's nothing better. You give it to Hashem. So who owns it? From this sugi we see, it goes by the tree owner. Eli It makes a lot of sense. But if you go by the owner of the land, who owns the land where the roots are in this case? Beis Hamikdash. So you're right. You go by a tree. So what's the next case? How does it fit into the next case? Now it doesn't make sense. If the hegdish goes into the private citizen, you shouldn't benefit from it, and you're not over mila. Who owns the tree over here? Rabbi Sai hegdish, so it should be 100% usher to use the root, and if you use the root, you should have to bring a carbon and pay 25% more. This is more me the area. Oh, so it's a new side. They donated a tree, and from the tree it grew a little bit more. The root system grew a little bit more. Once it was hegdish and the root system grew a little bit more, it's not a really hegdish anymore. It's like aftergrowth. Because 2 more lines and that's it. And he holds that you're not over Me'ila, even though that the tree is owned by hegdish, you're not over. As we said before. The root system that's close to the tree and that benefits the tree, it's yoinik from the tree, nourishes from it, you're not allowed to use, it's mila. But anything after 16 amas, it doesn't benefit the hegdish at all. So if you take the root system, you're not over mila or a boisai, have a wonderful day.